Good morning again, everyone, and welcome back to the KSR YouTube channel. We are back from SCT Charlotte, and we've got something we got to work on. Yeah, Mullet's back. You guys saw it, broke the transmission. So we're gonna rip that thing out of there and see what we can find that's broke in it. I'm also gonna take some measurements to see if I can make or modify some pieces for the rear upper control arm mounts on the chassis side. We need some more adjustability to bring the mounts down on the chassis side. So I'll show you that when we get it up in the air. But first things first, we need to get the transmission out so that we can see exactly what we need to order to replace what is broken. We know it had a little bit of a flare on the shift, which I think is high gear clutch clearances, but the way it sounds like now, it sounds like it may have broken the input shaft, because it's got a box full of neutrals except for park, and park is basically welded to the output shaft, so that tells me that the engine is no longer connected through the middle through the input shaft. Anyways, I think it's the input shaft, and hopefully it's just the input shaft and it didn't wreck any of the pump up in the front of the transmission. But rip that out, we'll show it to you. Looks like we need to get the car inside before it starts raining, which the clouds make it a little bit more bearable here in Florida, but the rain brings the humidity way up and we sweat we sweat a lot. Yeah. Anyways, let's get to work on this thing. All right, well, obviously we got the transmission out. Ended up staying after hours a little bit. Got tied up with some other stuff, but trans is out. We'll see if the input shaft comes out with the torque converter, and if it doesn't, then we'll dig deeper into it. Well, that stayed in, so that's good. There's problem one. That's not supposed to be twisted and broke off there. So obviously, that's the main reason why I didn't have any forward gears, but I also want to try and fix that flare that I saw on the 1-2 shift. Wow, this thing is tweaked everywhere. You see the splines? I don't know if you guys can see that or not, but these splines go this way and then they turn in and go that way. Not quite as exaggerated as I'm doing it with my finger, but there's a twist in there. And let me see if I've got a magnet that I can dig out the other part with. Please. You coming? I guess that's a no. Shoot. All right. Let's take the front out. They were certainly tight. And there goes the impact. Whee! Broke. Man, it's still broke. Dang it. Ooh. She broke off good down in there. Alright, so you guys that don't know how a power glide works, this inside of this drum is where all of the high gear clutches ride. There's probably 10 of them in this thing if I had to guess, based off of what kind of power it was built for. And this band around here, when it stops this drum, it applies the power differently through the planetary set, which is back here in the back, and that's what gets the gear ratio. That little flare that I saw, I think, was likely from the high gear clutch clearance being just a little bit too loose. So we will fix that. And there's the back of our input shaft. Busted off in there. The band actually looks really good. Gear set looks okay. So, might just be an input shaft. So let's see if I can get this input shaft out of there. So that might be all the way through now. Yep. Get out of there. Please. All right, well, the good news is this piece doesn't look like it's hurt at all. I mean, except for obviously where it's broken. But you can see where all of the twisting happened. It was in the high gear clutches good. And you can kind of see maybe just how far it twisted until boink, broke it off clean as a whistle. So just because while I'm in here, I'm going to look and see how the clutches look in high gear. Tomorrow I will get some parts on order. And then we will have them here probably for Wednesday and have a repaired power glide. So servicing this is really not that tough of an ordeal. And of course I say that and then I can't get it in there. Nope, there we go. Power glides are certainly pretty simple to... There's a bit of a problem. Looks like it had some ugliness going on there. You guys can see the heat, and it actually split the bearing plate there, or the shim, or whatever that is. I forget what the actual name of it is. Let's see how all the clutches look. Well, fine. Don't come out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Gotcha. Seven, 8, 9, 10. So clutches all look really good. So that tells me the flare was from the band releasing before these fully grabbed. So I'm gonna measure the clutch clearance before I put this back together, and then you can get adjustable, or not adjustable, but you can get different thickness steels. And there's even a couple of different thickness clutch wear plates. So I'll see what kind of clearance I end up with. See, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then 10. But I will see what we end up with there for clearance. Maybe tighten it up 10 to 15 thousandths. We'll see just what it is, and we'll also check the band tightness when we all go back together. So that solves today's mystery. And see how dirty these things get just from cruising down the road, all dusty, dirty. So I tried to push the seal out a little bit. Nice thing about that quick release transmission dipstick, you just leave the top of it in the car. You see our sensors and all that good stuff. I'll probably pull the planetary set out. So what makes low gear work, like I was saying earlier, is this band is applied. So there's a servo in here that pushes on, you can kind of see it down in there, shaft, and then it pinches that together and grabs the outside part of this drum. And when it does that, it makes the planetary set travel around the outside of those gears like so, and that gives it the gear ratio. And I'm going to try not to suck my finger through one of these gear sets. And then when this releases and all of the clutches apply inside the drum, then the output is locked solid to the input. So then this whole unit spins together like so. And then that puts power through to the drive shaft, onto the rear tires, and away we go. All right, so one other thing I'll show you guys before we wrap this video up. Ooh, and I'm rushing a dead battery, or almost dead battery. So you guys can see the multiple holes that this car has in it for the upper control arms. And our goal is to have those pointed down while the car is sitting at ride height. Even with them here, they're only about 5 degrees down. The good news is I think I can get probably 1, 2, maybe 3 more 1/2-inch holes through here. And I'll take the tire off and drill it very carefully, very straightly. Straightly? Is that a word? And then I will clean all the paint off of this, and I will weld doublers around it. Like you can see, this is double thick here. That's just so it's a little bit stronger. We'll do that on both sides, and that should give us like 3 more adjustment holes. Then we can get this rear suspension set up a little better and make this car work. I want to actually lower the rear just a little bit to get the control arms, the bottom control arms, a little bit different angle than what they were. And I think I need to raise the front just a little bit, lower the back just a little bit. I'll remeasure all the bar angles, and then we'll take this thing back to the track and see how fast we can make it go. If it doesn't go faster than 740s down at Bradenton, I'm gonna be a little aggravated. I know the car's got it. I've seen the data, how soft we've got this thing early. Like, this thing should easily be able to pull at least 2.3, 2.4 Gs. And if it'll do that, it's gonna run low sevens. All in all though, pretty happy with how the car is performed. I'm pretty happy with how the car's performed. I know it's got plenty left in it, and I know it's gonna eventually go into the 6s. Might take some really good air in the fall down at Bradenton, to where we can really get on a sticky track, but it might not. We jam 40 pounds of boost through this thing, it might just surprise us all. Right now we're right at 29.5. We tickle 30 pounds of boost right after the shift, and then it kind of falls down to 29.5, 29.8. And based off the weight of this car versus Leroy, it's probably making 150 to 200 horsepower more than Leroy. It's just a good bit heavier, so it doesn't have the acceleration through the middle of the track. Well, it still is gone faster than Leroy, but you know, it just needs a little more help early track to really make the car fly. So anyways, appreciate everybody watching. It's been a hot one today in Florida, but at least we have a plan for fixing the transmission. Be a pretty simple fix. And then we can get this thing back to the racetrack after a couple other little changes. I'm gonna need longer rear brake lines, I just noticed. Yep, sure enough. Sure enough. Gonna need some longer rear brake lines so that we can put the longer rear shocks on the thing. That could have been a problem. All right, anyways, appreciate everybody subscribing. Please click the notification bell and like and comment below. You guys have seen I've been trying to get back in and comment a little more lately. Appreciate everybody buying merch off of winwithksr.com. That's gonna do it for this episode. We will see you next time.